This is Red Carpet Fly's News on the Fly, bringing you daily, unique, and interesting entertainment, celebrity, and luxury news. Before we get started, you know what to do. Like, follow, and subscribe to Red Carpet Fly, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single News on the Fly episode. Before we get into these headlines, I want to recognize some of our fallen stars. Olivia Newton-John, the British-Australian singer, actress, and activist, best known for playing Sandy in the movie Grease opposite John Travolta, passed away on Monday at the age of 73 after a long-time battle with breast cancer. Miss Newton-John amassed a number of number one hits, chart-topping albums, and 4 records that sold more than 200 million copies each. She is survived by her husband, John Easterling, and daughter, Chloe Rose. Sending prayers to the Newton-John family, she will be missed. I also want to send prayers up for Anne Heche, who was in a horrific car crash in Mar Vista last Friday. Anne ended up in the hospital after crashing her car and causing a home to catch fire. She is in a coma after sustaining burns. As of Monday, Heche is in critical condition with significant pulmonary injury requiring mechanical ventilation and burns that require surgical intervention, reports the Los Angeles Times. I don't know Anne personally, but I do have a few friends in Hollywood that do, and this has been devastating for them. So I want to send prayers up for Anne, her friends, and family, and pray for a speedy recovery. In radio news, The Breakfast Club as we know it is over, so says co-host Angela Yee. As most of you already know, Angela Yee is leaving the nationally syndicated radio show The Breakfast Club. Angela Yee is leaving The Breakfast Club to start her own syndicated radio show called Way Up with Angela Yee. Yee already has a very successful podcast called Lip Service, so this new show will just be adding to her already impressive resume. I've been watching The Breakfast Club since it started and have seen it grow throughout the years, and this departure is not surprising. I've been seeing the distance between her and Charlamagne and DJ Envy for a while. She never really seemed to connect it to those two. Those guys seem to have a natural flow with each other, and it just never seemed that way with Angela. For me, the breakdown started after the fallout with Charlamagne and the Gucci Mane issue. To refresh your memories, Charlamagne did an interview with Gucci Mane on his YouTube channel, and Gucci Mane made some disparaging remarks about Angela Yee, and Charlamagne didn't defend his co-host. Although Charlamagne eventually apologized to Angela, I don't think she ever really got over it. And I listened to her message about leaving the Breakfast Club, and she thanked everyone but her co-host. So I think that's very telling. But, you know, she's always professional and she's very good at being cordial. So while her departure is bittersweet, I do think that the Breakfast Club is going to do just fine, at least for a little while. I hope they don't try to bring someone in to replace her. I just think it should be just DJ Envy and Charlamagne. What do you guys think about Angela Yee leaving the Breakfast Club? Do you guys even listen to the Breakfast Club? Comment below. So, have you guys seen this Apple TV show called Severance? If you haven't, it's real good. Severance is about a team of office workers whose memories have been surgically divided between their work and personal lives. So when they come into work, their memories of their personal lives shut off and their work memories turn on. And it's the same way when they leave the office. Once they leave the office, they have no recollection of the office day or the activities. When a mysterious colleague appears outside of work, it begins a journey to discover the truth about their jobs. Adam Scott, Patricia Arquette, and Christopher Walken are a part of the cast, and is directed and executive produced by Ben Stiller. Anyway, according to IndieWire, Ben Stiller uses his kids as a focus group for the Severance storylines. The director and executive producer of the Emmy-nominated Apple TV Plus series revealed to People magazine that he asked his kids, Ella, 20, and Quinlan, 17, to be a focus group for Severance plotlines, but his family would much rather Stiller undergo a lumen-severed procedure to keep his work and home life separate and avoid any season 2 spoilers. My kids were sort of the first test screening for me in terms of when I was editing episodes Stiller shared. I would show them and they would start to get into it. I showed them at different times, but it was fun to have them as kind of a focus group to see what they reacted to. Stiller is currently working on season 2, but his kids don't want any spoilers. We have this ongoing debate about spoilers because I'm now working on the scripts and preparing the show, the Dodgeball star said, and I want to ask them questions and they're like, well, don't tell us. Do you want to know or not? So it's like an ongoing debate. Showrunner Dan Erickson exclusively told IndieWire that director Stiller was fiercely protective of the pilot Erickson penned. I feel like from our first conversation, he had it in his head that there's something special here, and he knows at this point in his career that he has the clout to protect something like that and make sure it doesn't get watered down. Make sure it doesn't, and the translation to screen, start to feel more like something we've seen before, Erickson explained. Stiller's doing a really good job of protecting this project because I have never seen this story or this type of scenario before. It's a totally fresh and new take on work in the office. You know, I always wondered, how do people who never worked in the office know so much about working in an office? Like Ben Stiller comes from an acting family. His father was an actor and he's an actor. So what's the likelihood that he has spent time being an assistant or working in the office in some type of capacity? Does he sit down with assistants, human resource managers, operation managers, and ask them about their day? I also wonder why people are so obsessed with The Office. Office TV shows do really well on TV. This show is doing well. The Office with Steve Carell and John Krasinski did very well. Also, you have Comedy Central's Corporate. In my other job, I do work in an office, and there's a lot of office dynamics and politics that you have to navigate, but I wonder what makes someone who never worked in an office interested in that type of environment. I've been lucky enough these days to work from home most of the week, and I swear my sister is an honorary coworker. She knows everything that's going on, and she knows everybody, even though she doesn't officially work at the company. Anyway, comment below if you have seen or heard of the show called Severance. I feel like Apple TV is trying to go toe-to-toe with HBO with the type of programming that they're starting to have on their platform. It's very edgy content. Caitlyn Jenner is speaking out about trans women in professional women's sports. We have to keep it fair for women, she states in response to transgender swimmer Leah Thompson, who wants to compete in the Olympics against females. According to Radar Online, Jenner is wading into the pool of debate surrounding transgender athletes. Jenner, who is transgender herself, slammed transgender swimmer Leah Thomas, who was born a male, stating that Thomas has a tremendous advantage over the girls and that we have to keep it fair for women. Jenner added that it's just not fair on other performers considering that Thompson went through puberty as a male. She has also said that the Olympic pursuit makes the trans community look selfish. Jenner, a former Olympic champion, called Thomas's defiance bad publicity for the trans community while speaking to Dan Wooten on GB News on August 9th. Thomas said that the legacy effects of testosterone from puberty should not keep her from the Olympic trials. It's been a goal of mine to swim at the Olympic trials for a very long time, and I would love to see that through, Thomas said in the interview. Jenner, who has competed as a man in the decathlon in 2 Olympics, said of Thomas, listening to her talk, it's all about her. It's not about what's fair in sports. She has a tremendous advantage over the girls. She's taller, she has bigger hands, her cardiovascular system is bigger, she went through male puberty and all of those things, and it's just not fair. Despite Thomas's desire to compete, FINA, Swimming World's governing body, does not allow trans athletes to compete in women's elite races if they've gone through any male puberty. Earlier this year, FINA said it would aim to include an open category for those whose gender identity is different to their birth sex. I went through male puberty. I was a strong 6'2". I'm 72 years old and I can still hit the ball 290 yards because my arms and legs are long. I can still do these type of things. I transitioned fully 7 years ago, but there's still a lot left over there, Jenner said. Jenner said criticism she's faced over her stance on the matter doesn't bother her, according to the Daily Mail. I've taken so much flack. Honestly, I've got a thick skin. They can come after me. I really don't care. I can take all of the criticism. I feel like I'm on the right side. You know, I'm not really a fan of Caitlyn Jenner, as I feel like even though she has fully transitioned into a woman, I feel like she misses or she doesn't fully understand the nuanced conversations regarding some of the issues facing the transgender community. I believe her privilege as a straight, Republican, rich white man has shaped her viewpoint on the world, and she can't really relate to some of the struggles of that community. However, I actually agree with Jenner on this issue. I know it's a controversial issue, but I agree with her. I was in competitive sports growing up. I was a competitive gymnast and I ran track and field. Competitive sports is difficult. Not only are you competing against people who may have been training for years for this sport, but you're also competing against people who may have a body composition that's already predisposed to excelling in that sport, like they're thinner and they have maybe longer legs. Or in the event of gymnastics, they may have a lower center of gravity due to a gymnast's petiteness. I couldn't imagine competing against a woman that used to be a man. While I hate to admit it, men are just physically stronger and faster than women. They just are. And to me, the FINA committee doesn't seem to be against having transgender women swimming in their competitions. They just have an issue with transgender women that went through puberty as a male. Male puberty is like a super drug. I remember being one of the tallest girls in the 8th grade. I could literally see the tops of guys' heads. Well, that summer between 8th and 9th grade, the guys just shot up. As I went into the 9th grade, I feel like I was walking through a forest of limbs when walking through the hallway. It just seemed over the summer, the guys shot up like weeds and I stopped growing after the 8th grade. While I support transgender women, I don't think that they should be in competitive sports with women, especially if they went through puberty as a male. What do you guys think? Do you agree or disagree with Caitlyn Jenner? Comment below. Anyway, that's it for today, guys. If you would like to receive text notifications of when I post News on the Fly episodes or my celebrity red carpet interviews, please send a text to 917-502-4379 and say, "I want to get fly text." Once subscribed, you will start receiving text messages regarding News on the Fly episodes or a celebrity interview. Also, if you have a business, product, service, YouTube channel, or social media account that you'd like to promote on my channel, please email redcarpetfly@alexi@redcarpetfly.com to get rates for advertising. Lastly, please like, follow, subscribe, and share our YouTube channel, Red Carpet Fly, and also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Red Carpet Fly. And until tomorrow, always stay fly.